Hi everyone, how are you doing? I'm really well. I have finally this week sat down with a book and really enjoyed reading. Now, I don't know about you, but I am really bad for slowing down and reminding myself of how wonderful it is when I actually do read a book. And it got me thinking that lots of people do reading challenges through the year, trying to read books in a number of months. I'm not the fastest, so I don't know if that would work for me, but what I thought might be really fun is making our very own little bookmark, which we can list all the books we've read. So we're going to do a little bookmark with a stack of books that as we go through the year or through the term or whatever, you can list all the books you've read. And even if maybe you're not someone who wants to like speed read or anything, maybe it's a really great opportunity to just list all your favourite books that you've read, because I don't know about you, but I forget all the time, and then people ask me for recommendations and I'm like, eh. So this is going to be useful for me, be useful for you, and it might be a really lovely additional gift if you're ever giving the gift of a book to someone. Make them a bookmark and just, you know, lift the level of the gift giving and you'll be a bit of a legend. So grab your paints and let's get started. To make this bookmark, on a piece of 6x8 inch watercolour paper, just the regular stuff we normally use, draw yourself two parallel vertical lines. Mine are, it's about 1.5 inches, roughly 4 centimetres wide. You can choose however you like. But what we're going to do is we're going to draw some books. Now, I often find books quite hard to draw, but I've realised recently it doesn't have to be like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some horizontal lines, and then I'm going to give myself one more vertical line just a little bit off to the left of this one here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it as my helpful kind of side return of the book, and basically from there I've drawn myself the first book on the pile. So then I'm going to stack them so they're a bit sort of higgledy-piggledy. So I have it coming out just a little bit more that way, and maybe it's a slightly longer book. Let's have a thicker one. So essentially you get the gist of it, but what is nice is if you can use these guidelines to sort of create for you. Well, that's a bit of a wonky one. I don't mind a wonky book too much. Might make the pile look a bit strange. But you get the gist. So let's just keep on drawing horizontal lines of varying thicknesses and thinnesses, and then from there you can maybe make a short book. Now if you've done a book that comes really shy of the left hand line, then you just have to think about how it's going to sit coming back out. And this little curve is just that curve of the pages. And I think it might be nice to do a few that sort of jut out a bit further as well. So using that rule, draw yourself a stack of books as high or as short, as tall or as short as you like. And the other thing that I'm doing is I'm just flattening off the angle. So you see the angle's quite sort of steep there. It's starting to flatten off a little bit. I mean, that's not necessarily something you have to worry about, but I quite like the idea of the books, the book stack. It's as if you're looking at it from the side. Right, once you have drawn all your books out, you could also do ones with the the spines facing away and just seeing the pages too, so that's an option. Then choose your colour palette. Now I haven't used my turquoises in a long while and I'd really like to. So what I'm going to do is I've chosen my palette of turquoise tones, so this is cobalt turquoise here, and I'm going to paint a very nice dilute and fresh wash of varying shades of turquoise, blue and green down my books. Now I think the best idea is to pick a colour and paint all the books you want to paint in that colour, then choose your next colour, because what's happening then is the colours will all start to dry, and what we want is lovely crisp edges in between them all. And I'm just looking for which ones I want. It's nice to have a sort of random assortment, isn't it? So if you're giving this as a gift, maybe think about the colours that that person might like. Using sort of what we call analogous colours, which is colours that are next to each other in the colour wheel, is one way of choosing a colour palette. But also, what about complementary colours? So if you had greens, and you could also add some pinks in as well. I'm using my size 2 brush to do this, and this was working rather nicely. So I've painted in all the spines, but I've also got these 4 that I've painted in buff titanium, because those are the ones where the book is turned around and we see the page rather than the spine. And so now we just need to fill in all of the side pages with buff titanium, and then we can start to do a little bit of detail. Just make sure that your pages or your spines, whatever you've just painted, have dried before you put this last wash in, because it's still all very dependent on having nice clean washes next to each other, so a bit of drying time is required. Once that is dry, then there's a little bit more painting to do, just of the sort of sides of the books. So I'm just taking the same colour I painted the spine in and popping that along the side. I'm just slightly struggling to see which colour used to be the book. There we go. And then once we've done this, we're going to rub out the pencil. We're going to actually get some scissors and cut the shape out, and we're going to add some lovely detail with some fine line pens. So if you get to hand some little scissors, you could use a scalpel if you wanted, but I think scissors will be absolutely fine for this. Yeah, and some fine line pens, and we'll be able to finish it off. With all the pencil rubbed out, it's time to have a bit of fun. So I've got some fine line pens here, and what I think would be quite nice is using them to sort of create the lines for the pages. Just a few little flicks of one of the finer lines there. And then you could also use a slightly thicker pen to maybe add some little sort of details to the back of the book, maybe a little imprint at the base, or some kind of corners like that, but leaving enough space so that you can write in some titles of books that you love. So now I've got a few extra little bits, scissors, a hole punch and a tassel. So I'm now going to cut it out, and I like to leave a little white edge around the edge. Here is the bookmark. I just left a little curve on the top so that I could punch a hole without affecting the books. I'm going to thread through a little tassel, and there's our gorgeous bookmark. And I'm going to write on, just at the bottom here, one of my favourite books I've ever read, which is called A Fine Balance by Winton Mystery. So let's see if I can, maybe I'll write it up the top and put, so that's my book recommendation to you. Winton Mystery. It's brilliant. And actually what's nice is, now I'm thinking about it, I can actually remember some more books to put on it, so I will do that. But yeah, there is your lovely book stack bookmark with a lovely little challenge to see if you can list all of your favourite books or give yourself a reading challenge to fill it up by Christmas. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!